What's cooking, everybody? It's Brees, and we're back at the Brooklyn Content House for another episode of the What's Cooking podcast, home of the hottest upcoming entrepreneurs around the city. So today we have a special guest with us because she's actually somebody that does something very similar to what we're doing. So this is more of a collab as opposed to an episode. So I'm gonna introduce herself, and she's gonna tell you a little bit about what she does.
All right, what's good, y'all? I am Aaliyah Duah, 20-year-old entrepreneur. I'm the founder of Financial Revolutionn, which is my business where I teach financial literacy, and my goal is just to help build generational wealth in the Black community. So I go around to schools, I talk about investing, credit, budgeting. I went to Rikers Island, so I try to go to jails, do community service events, and just preach the word to the people.
Not go to jail, but go to jail.
Not go to jail. No, not that. Not that.
Yeah, so what got you into it, especially being that you're very young? Like, a lot of people your age don't tend to care about those things until they're like adults and whatnot. Like, grown like adults, wife, kids, all that. So
yeah,
what got you into it at such a young age?
I mean, I started this business when I was 16 years old. It was kind of like a thought in my mind. I was like sitting on the couch, it was during the pandemic. And one day I just woke up and I was like, you know what, like I have to start, right? Because during the pandemic, I started shifting the information I was listening to because I noticed that like I couldn't go out with my friends anymore. I couldn't work at the job. Previously, I was working at a law office, right? And I couldn't work in a law office. So that means I couldn't make money no more, right? And then on the news, I just keep seeing like, oh, unemployment, Black people this, other people getting wealthy. So I'm like how are other races getting wealthy? But my community, like we dependent on the government and like all this stuff. So I'm like, what's this about? So I just start Googling information, like watching different episodes on YouTube. And then I found myself, of course, like people like Earn Your Leisure and like the Social Proof podcast, stuff like that. So I just started shifting my information. So every day, like for an hour, I'm like reading books, I'm listening to podcasts. So then when you change the information, of course, the things you're speaking about changes. So that's when I'm like, okay, all right, I'm learning about this stuff. And when you learn something good, you want to go tell your friends. So I'm just talking to my friends about it. And I'm like, y'all, like, I'm learning about like, financial literacy, spending your money, we can invest our money into stuff. And like, this will happen as a result and all this stuff. And then I'm like, I just can't tell my friends, because if my friends don't know, how many other people don't know? If I didn't know, how many other people in my class don't know? You know what I'm saying? So now I'm like, all right, I got to tell the world. So that's when I was just kind of building my confidence. And I said, one day I was on the couch. I woke up, not even on the couch. I woke up one morning and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start the Instagram page. So I just went. I think at that time there was like some app called like Mojo, some like app like that, and I just went on there, created some weird like some weird looking artwork. Yeah, some weird looking artwork, right? Created some like if I showed y'all my logo from when I first started, it looked crazy, like everything looked crazy, and then I just went posted it, and I said, all right, y'all, this is me. I'm starting this business, but actually I forgot. I actually started on my main Instagram page. I started posting Aaliyah financial lessons, like something like that. Oh. And it's yeah. So it was like from like Monday through Friday, every day when I woke up, I was like on a structured like regimen. Like I was like, all right, every day I'm doing this. So I woke up at like 8:00, and every day I was posting like different things. So I think like one day I did a breakdown on like credit, all the different things I learned about credit. I did a breakdown on like budgeting, right? All these different things. And I did that for 2 weeks straight. And then that's when I was like, all right, let me just create the page. So I actually started from that. So if you ever go my like Instagram highlights and where the highlight that says financial literacy, it actually started from those little lessons that I was posting every day. And then I made the page. And then my first post, I got like 300 likes. I'm like, slick.
You got it.
I'm like, everybody messing with me. They like this. It's cool. But then it started dying down. And I was like, all right, but I gotta be consistent. I show up. So that's really like the story of how I got started.
Okay, I actually thought you've been doing this like further back.
No, yeah. I really just got started. My two years in it. I started when I was 16. My sophomore year of high school year. I mean of college. Sorry, my sophomore year of college. No, what's that? No, yeah. What's it? I
Wait, run that back?
I started at 17.
Wait, you said you were 15?
Yeah.
So you went to college early?
Yeah, I did go to college.
Okay, that's impressive.
So my fault. I started when I was 17.
You better brag about that. You acting like I'm just saying, wait.
Nah, not even that. I started this when I was 17. My fault, yeah. So I started when I was 17. My sophomore year of college. Yeah, my sophomore year of college. Yeah.
So what schools have you been to?
All right, so y'all know I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I love Brooklyn. Everything about me is Brooklyn.
Everything.
Everything Brooklyn. Y'all ready know. Big Brooklyn, South
Are y'all
Philly.
seriously doing this?
Brooklyn.
Are y'all seriously doing this borough stuff right now?
Nah.
Really?
Where you from?
I'm from Queens, but come on, man. Come on, man.
I'm sorry. But yeah. So I'm from
Are
Brooklyn.
you serious?
So elementary school, I went to PS11. Most of my schools was in like Clinton Hill, West Side area. Went to PS11. Middle school, I went to 318, and then high school, I went to Benjamin Banneker.
Okay, yeah.
Benjamin,
I got love.
that's a black high school, right?
Yeah.
It's like an HBCU, but for high school.
Yeah.
No,
Bedford. I went to Bedford. Yeah, I did one class in Bedford, so I definitely got to spin back and like get more classes with them. High schools, I'm trying to get into some middle schools because I noticed like the younger you teach them, right?
The
Because
better, the better.
the better it is because we already start creating like our own like type of situations about money and how the way we use money, especially growing up. Our parents give us like $5 to go to the store, so little things like that, right? Is us creating habits of how we use our money. Like I remember my mom would give me like $25 for the week, so that's $5 every day, Monday through Friday, and I had to budget that money every day. If I went Monday and spent that whole entire $25, it's clipped by Friday. Friday is no money. So those little things right there are ways of our first time spending money on our own when we go into like the corner store when like we get Christmas money and we're trying to figure out if I'm getting the game, I'm getting the sneakers, like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like little things like that.
Well, how am I get both?
Exactly.
Nowadays.
My mother took us to Disney World, and we kids. Oh, I want this. I want this. I want this. My mother said, "Here's $100 for you, and here's $100 for you. Buy whatever you want." Me and my brother looked up at $100. I started checking the prices. I was like, $50 for Mickey Mouse? Nah. Yeah. You know what I bought? I bought folders for school. That's what I bought.
Exactly. And you know what's crazy? I have a similar instance. One time my father said, you could go in the store and get any pair of sneakers, right? I didn't get the most expensive shoe in there. Like, I didn't. I think I left. That's when Vans was out. I left for some Vans, bro. I could have got some nice jeans, and I got Vans. And it's because when we start, it's a little calm, but it's like when we start making decisions on our own, and it's like our choice to make those decisions, we start actually altering things versus when it's mommy or daddy money. It's like it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
They pockets got no limit.
Exactly.
So you say you went to Banneker. So do you feel like that kind of inspired what you're doing right now? Because I could see a relation there.
All right, so it didn't have an impact. I'm gonna say an impact because growing up in Brooklyn in general, we're very materialistic, right?
Yep.
New York in general, don't ever do that.
The whole
It's New York in general. Don't do that. I work in a school in Queens. And Queens got it too, so don't do that.
She said Queens get the money.
Yeah, exactly.
What's that about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, Banneker specifically, we didn't have to wear uniforms. So if you already know coming to school is drip or drown. Like you gotta put it on.
I'm not gonna lie, that's how I went to middle school downtown Brooklyn. That's how it was.
Exactly.
Like, where you got your shit is fake? Yeah. Your stuff is fake.
It's way worse. Like I worked in a high school, and the girl in 10th grade, she got the Prada bag, the everything crazy. But my thing is, she got the little Prada bag. This ain't even the school bag where you can put books in.
Right. I asked that teacher, I was like, where you go? That teacher, I been like, where you,
bro? It's
crazy. It's crazy because like I went to private school, so it's just like we paid tuition, so it's just like
a Prada bag in 10th grade.
People come to school like dressed in their tuition essentially.
It's crazy. It's literally
a Prada bag in 10th grade.
Because I know their parents are trying to get financial aid.
It's not crazy. I don't get a Prada bag in 10th grade. It's crazy. I was walking around with a Louis Vuitton bag in 10th grade. But it carried my books. But she's saying the little one.
You know the little one that got
the little one.
But for me, it's still impressive though, because I wasn't used to that. I was in Philadelphia wearing uniform and all this other stuff. That's crazy.
It's crazy. It's definitely crazy. But yeah, so just being in Banneker, like I have friends that's wearing Balmains on a regular day.
Yeah.
Like no funny, like just Balmain, like a Mary on a regular day.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm saying? So it's just little things like that. You start adapting to your environment. So I caught myself like, I was just talking to my cousin about this in the car because he's in high school now. And like I'm getting Margellas. I remember I first asked my mom for Balenciagas, right? Yeah. And I was an athlete growing up, so I wasn't able to like worked really at first because my mom wanted me to pay attention to sports, so I could get a scholarship or whatever. So when I first saw her on Balenciagas and she was $500, she like what? But she got them. But my mom got them,
They were
right?
500 back then?
Yeah, Balenciaga.
They're like
Yeah,
a band. I mean, they're 500 now because of what's going on.
yeah.
It was like a band.
It's the old Balenciagas, like the leather, like those old ones, right? So I like the classic type of. So I had those. So I just caught myself like getting into like designer things. Some of it was generally because I liked it, and some of it was just because like everybody around me was doing it, so I had to adapt. So as I'm having my mindset shift in a pandemic, I was like, I have to change my habits. My thought of like, all right, I gotta get the most expensive coat, right? I used to have a Goose, right? And I'm like, why do I have on this $900 coat, but I'm asking my mom for $20 to go get food? You know what I'm saying?
Damn, yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So it's just like little things like that. And I know, okay, my parents are probably paying for my stuff, but I'm getting older now. I'm getting my own stuff. So if I want to match my fly, my pockets got to match it too. So I think like back to the question, I think like Banneker impacted me in a way where I was noticing like my habits were wrong, and I had to change those habits. And I noticed how a lot of people in the school I went to had the same mindset that I had. So if I'm changing my mindset, they have to change their mindsets as well. Like we have to start, creating generational wealth. So I have to go back to where I came from to actually teach that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I got to talk to my friends about it so that we're all on, one accord. Because me doing it alone is like, it doesn't take us nowhere,
So you just said the magic word, right? You just said the magic word, generational wealth. And I feel like every episode that we've done so far, it's like there's always like a bunch of cliches that we like to pinpoint, right? And obviously, this is the one that we're about to pinpoint right now. What's your definition of generational wealth versus like what social media and like all these other platforms about labeled generational wealth as?
So I think one, generational wealth, we have to stop looking at it from the standpoint of just money, right?
Yeah, correct.
Generational wealth is a mindset, passing down, skill sets, passing down businesses, assets, right? Not just like money, like, oh, all right, I'm passing down my kid $1 billion, right? That kid could go use that $1 billion and blow it in a year. You know what I'm saying? And all your hard work is done and down the drain, right? And although I technically didn't create generational wealth as of yet, I just know that like it's working because when I look at my cousin, right, and he's younger than me, he just did a financial literacy class in his class. You know what I'm saying? And I look at the impact I have around the impact I have on the people around me, that's generational, wealth in a way, right? It may not exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like bringing your family and people that you love and people that know you around to see what you're doing. That's generational wealth. We have to stop looking at it at a standpoint of just, money and things like that. So that's really my definition, like, mindsets. Of course, money, right? Because the money gotta be there. But we know that when we hear wealth, we already think money. Exactly. We already know, right? So I think like just definitely passing down mindsets, skill sets, a way of life, a way of living. How to be emotionally intelligent. I think that's something that like we don't talk about. You know what I'm saying? So like things like that, like how to handle yourself in business, how to leverage relationships, things like that. We don't talk about that. So I think all of that is a part of, generational wealth.
I agree 1,000%. My mother and I was just having that conversation because I was like, I don't leave my job, I hate it. But she was like, you gotta be, before you leave your job, you need to be in a place where you can take care of our houses. Like, we left this for you. Like my grandmother just said, her tenant just moved out, but she was like, I don't want to profit off this house. It was given to me. I want you to live here. I want your cousin to live here. So y'all can get on your feet and then keep going. Like, keep the family going. Keep excelling. So all of that was just, I'm like, yeah, that's a fact. Like, 100%.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's actually something that, even though I'm asking you this question, I kind of have my own answer as well. But so being that both our platform, well, yours is more educational, mine is more like exposure based. So like with our platform, it's not necessarily like we're looking to impact more than we're looking like it's like impact over money basically.
Of course.
So obviously the main answer is streaming and things like that. So like on your side, what would you say is like I guess like in terms of financial purpose, like how do you like feel about your business in terms of like what you're trying to do, like in terms of
So y'all are familiar with like earning leisure, right? Earning Leisure. All right,
Yeah.
so Earning
I watch
Leisure
it.
is like the #1 financial literacy platform out right now, especially for Black people in the Black community, right? So it's two guys from New York actually who
Oh, they're
created the
from New
platform.
York. Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't even know that.
yeah, they're not from Brooklyn, but from New York.
I mean, I think Rashad, he sounds like him.
Yeah,
The
they-
other guy, I don't
yeah, they're both from New York. I think like the Bronx, somewhere like that. Yeah. But I wanted to create. Essentially, they created like a media platform, right? And their business has gotten to a certain level that's so high that it's like almost like nobody can mess with their business. And then they built a business that's not based off of like clout or chasing or like exploiting our people or speaking on things that's like negative for our people. It's all positive. I want to create the same type of platform for my generation, right? Because I noticed like a lot of times, like we're in the same generation, so y'all older, but we're in the same generation. A lot of times I'm putting other people onto them. You know what I'm saying? When it should be like we should all know. You know what I'm saying? So if I create exactly, so if I create a platform for our generation that's similar to theirs, that's them kind of passing on the baton to say like, yo, like our generation needs that information because we're the next people to be, the next billionaires, the next millionaires, the next all that. You know what I'm saying? So we need that information. So that's the type of platform that I'm looking to build, like a similar platform to the Earning Legion for my generation, basically, in simple terms. And those are the people that I kind of look up to, and I like look at as my mentors and people that I look to guide me in a way that I follow my business. So when I'm talking about financial literacy and how I post on the media, I try to do things like that.
Yeah, because it's just something I think about all the time. It's like when people ask me like, what do I hope to get out of this? Like a lot of people like, oh, he's a YouTuber, he's this, he's rich off of YouTube money and stuff like that. I'm just like, now I kind of want to be more impactful as opposed to just like being like rich off a platform. But obviously, the streams are gonna show for itself. Like, it's not like I'm trying to force people to like pay me enough to do a service or nothing. I feel like the platform itself builds itself in its own way because it's like I said, the streams will come and all that. It's just for now, it's just mainly just being consistent and I guess you could say finding good talent and just like working with them and giving them that exposure they want.
Exactly. And I think like that's important. Like everybody gotta have their role. Like similar to how you just said, my platform is more educational based and yours exposure based. You know what I'm saying? Like we work together. Like somebody has to be doing the work where people are getting exposure. Somebody has to be doing the work where people are getting educated. And on this platform, you still get educated too. Somebody has to be doing the work where you get entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Like we all have to do our job. We all have to have a niche and not like, try to knock each other down. Like we gotta, collaborate, work together. So it's important.
Yeah, I should have pointed that out too. So your podcast is called the Young and Dumb Podcast. So everybody out there watching, make sure you tune in, right?
Yeah, young and
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
And what I like about your platform that I also like with mine is we both try to get our audience to understand that it's not like something in school, like it's not boring, it's not just, reading like papers all the time. Like this is actually something that can be fun too.
Exactly.
Like I know your question, I mean I should save it for later, but I know your common question is like, what's your favorite rap lyric or whatnot? I'm tongue twisted. What's your favorite rap lyric about money? And it's just like people probably like until they watch until
Scared money don't make no money. If I ever go broke, I'ma take your money. My brother said something. He found out. I said, "Scared money don't make no money." What we about to do about it?
No, but yeah. So going back to what I was saying, like even things like a small portion of the episode like that, like it really makes things relatable to like the younger generation. Because like you were saying earlier, it's better to get their attention now as opposed to later. And we're especially like the Black community, we tend to not really like I said earlier, we don't really care about these things till we're actually like adults and we want to actually have a house and all these nice things. It's like, well, we could have known what to do from the jump and prepare for all those years like ahead. But I feel like trying to find ways that make it relatable, like entrepreneurship in general, relatable, and financial literacy relatable, is just like I feel like that's really key to especially in the Black community, to elevating us into a direction where we're always gonna be like we're not gonna be the like you said earlier. We're not gonna be the ones at the bottom always relying on government assistance, stuff like that. We know what to go and do on our own, right? We don't need anybody's help, essentially. So
I agree.
that's something I really like about
I appreciate you. And that's That's why I told myself when I started my business when I was 17, I was in my head about it, right? I told myself, like, it's kind of selfish, if I'm like using my fears to hold me back and hold back information that I had not to give to my community because I'm shy or because I'm not confident. Like, that's kind of, selfish in a way. Like, if I have good information, right, and I'm not sharing it with other people because I I'm scared. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, I have to get out my shell. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be easy, but it's something that you just have to do. Like, it's a lot of us who have good talents, great skills, and because we are shy or because we're scared or because we're not confident or just simply because of lack of information, we don't do it. You know what I'm saying? And I said, by me starting this at 17, I'm so relatable. I have something that a lot of people that are in this business don't have. My youth, you know what I'm saying? My age. When I go into the schools, like, I just turned 20 in November. So when I go into the schools, I'm like still like, I could talk the same talk that they took. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a college student. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like that relatability there. A lot of people don't have that. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you hit like 25, 26, they're looking at you like, all right, you're old and you can't, I don't know, talking about you pay bills. You know what I'm saying? I don't necessarily, I still live with my parents. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand what they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like being that example.
Being 24, 25, I'm not 25. I live with my grandmother now.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't pay any bills, fortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like you. I feel
Yeah,
like
my fault. Yeah, I get
that.
that. My fault.
I
get it. Yes.
Because I'm a teacher. I teach my kids, and I can get certain things through their head because I'm relatable. Like,
all right, so I'm gonna change the number.
Yeah.
30, 40. 30, 40.
30s.
30s. All right,
20s.
20s, you good.
Now,
All right.
living in New York City, a lot of people in their 20s, even some people in their early 30s, they still live with their parents because it's so expensive to live.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But I just think like relatability is like key, super, super key. And even if you get older, still being relatable. I was listening to something. Oh yeah, I was watching my school graduation and they
Like
kept saying
your year or like
no,
like
today,
the last
today,
year or something?
today, like
Oh,
they were,
our
it was
graduation
my
today.
school's
Oh, you
graduation.
graduated today?
Yeah, it was the commencement for my school today, and they were texting in the chat like this commencement speaker. He's chatting like what is he talking about? But I understood what he was talking about. He said the word stakeholder, right? So I automatically knew what he was talking about. He was talking about
them commencement speakers.
yeah, he was talking about business. And you know what I realized? I said in my mind, I'm like, they think he's chatting because like he's not being relatable. He's not talking their talk. He's not, speaking in their language. And I think that's a lot of times we have to know how to code switch, right? My dad always told me, I told my dad, I said, when I go to school, me personally, I like to always wear sweatsuits, all that. When I go to schools, I dress like who I am. I wear my sweatsuits.
She's selling sweatsuits as well, so make
That's
sure
a fact. Go cop up, right? So I come in like who I am. I'm not trying to be somebody else, none of that. And my dad told me, he was like, be relatable, but also you want to show them that, the work that you put in got you somewhere.
Yeah.
You got what I'm saying? Right? So be relatable, but don't step down. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them think that, while doing the work, you're still in the same place. People have to see results, right? So I think that's like a lot of times where people get confused. Like you don't have to show results all the time, but show that like, when you put work in, you'll get something out of it, right? You know what I'm saying? So I show people like I've been consistent with my business, so I got something out of it. I'm now here. I'm now doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So one thing, it's crazy. 'Cause I do my homework on a lot of guests, so like, don't look at me like I'm a stalker.
Nah, you good.
My other guests, they're like, how do you know that? How do you know that? You look nice, whatever. So I noticed that you're a Delta, right?
Yes.
So how do you go about like using that network to your advantage, or like in terms of just networking with people that are also Deltas? Like, do you have like a plan with that? Like,
yeah,
talk about
definitely, right? So honestly speaking, being a part of like a sorority in general, especially Divine Nine, is super, super, super powerful. Yeah. Especially with the work that I do. I try to get into a lot of schools. A lot of principals are Divine Nine, right? Like a lot of them. So automatically, when I show up to the interview to tell them like who I am about my business, ready wearing my sorority pin, all that.
Smart.
You know what I'm saying? So automatically,
she's psychological. She got the psychological.
So automatically, it creates something that we have something in common. And they're like, oh, you're Delta. Oh, my wife is this, or my cousin is. They love that.
Yeah.
And I'm young. They love that. Oh, where did you cross? You know what I'm saying? So it's a great business move. You know what I'm saying? And it's an investment, with your time and money, but it pays for it. I promise you. A week after I crossed, I had an interview at Bedford Academy. The principal or the assistant principal, I think the principal of Bedford Academy is no, it's a wait. What she said?
No, Miss Lavash, she's the
No, Miss Lavash. Yes,
Miss
Miss Lavash. She's a Delta.
And
She's a
then the
Delta.
English teacher, Miss Johnson.
She's a Delta. Simple. As soon as I went in there, she's like, oh, simple. You know what I'm saying? I was in that school 2 weeks later. You know what I'm saying? So it definitely is a power move, but of course, like.
Nah, bro, you know what I'm saying?
So do you feel like, well, I mean, I don't want to dig too much into your friends, but do you feel like you could use that network to your advantage in terms of like just your outreach, in terms of just, I don't know, anything really? Like, do you have any ideas that you feel like sharing?
Of course. So like homecoming, for example, this homecoming, well, the last homecoming in October, instead of me like being outside partying and all that, I was actually a vendor for 2 days. So the Friday and Saturday, I was a vendor, right? I had my flyer out.
With the table.
Yeah, with the table. I had my flyer out. The flyer said, meet this VSU student, right? So automatically it shows that I'm a current student. Everybody else out there was
just outside.
Yeah, just vendors, regular vendors that you see every year. They did a thing where like they allow students to be vendors this year because I advocated for it. But I was one of the vendors that was kind of like prepared for everything. So I was like, meet this VSU student who teaches financial literacy, boom, 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 said what I do, everything on my flyer, all this. I got a whole bunch of contacts, right? All sorority members come, during homecoming time. So everybody that was from my chapter,
Past,
they came.
Present, future,
they came. All my sisters tell them like, oh yeah, go to my sister tent over there. I sold a bunch of books. Like I sold out of books. I had no more books to sell. I had to get online orders and shipped it to them a week later. Like that's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm always kind of thinking like, how can I use like the resources I have now and the network I have now to kind of like brand myself and get more outreach. I tell people all the time like, if you know me, you know what I do. I'm trying to get to more people, not the people who know me. I'm trying to get, new faces and stuff like that.
You say you go to VSU and everything, right?
Yeah.
You know somebody named out there, Nigel?
Nigel, what? He take pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
yeah, he take pictures.
Small world, word.
Yeah, so the Young and Dumb podcast, would you say that was something that you wanted to do separately, or was that something that was a part of the plan?
I am not a camera person. Like at all. Like y'all see energy right now, but outside of this, I'm quiet, have my headphones in.
I don't believe that.
You can ask. You can literally ask him.
I'll watch the
when I
episode.
first met you, give my flowers. I thought you was like, hi, like you.
Oh, y'all know each other.
Yeah,
Mom.
I know her mom and I know her brother. Like every time I saw Aaliyah, she was in the cut minding her business.
Yeah, I don't.
She's not like talk to people.
So I think So I think you're like an extrovert, introvert, because that's me too.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's cool. My dad told me to call it ambivert. Like I really
ambivert, yes.
Yes, I really be having to tell myself like, Aaliyah, come on, like take the headphones out, take it, like because you really get like I really in my zone. Like I don't be mad at nothing.
You're another one. You're ambivert too. You are.
Michael, don't start.
Okay.
Nah, I do have days. I be like, my social media has run out. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to talk to nobody. I be like, don't even look at me.
Yeah, like I can be in parties for 5 minutes. That 5-minute hit, and I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Like I'll be at parties like scrolling on Instagram, like real life. Like
yeah.
I was falling asleep last night at a bar at the club.
I just like I don't know. I just feel like everybody energy sometimes just be like
everybody's energy be off. Like at my job, I don't like talking to nobody.
Yes.
I don't know.
All right, so I do have a personal, not a personal question, but Young and Dumb podcast, right? Mm-hmm. What has been your favorite moment so far, like as far as the journey goes right now?
Honestly, I would say learning to work. Y'all would probably think interviewing the people, yeah, that's cool. But I have no experience with working like Adobe Premiere Pro or editing or production, learning cameras, mics, lights. This goes here, that goes here. This plugs into that. Like I knew nothing about none of that. So I think my favorite part has actually been learning and learning all that production stuff because I made a video one time and I was like, when you have a business, you essentially have to kind of know everything that goes on. You know what I'm saying? You have because say my producer doesn't show up, I have like the show must go on. So I have to kind of learn the different skills that I need in order to operate my business, just in case I got to do it myself. You get what I'm saying? So I think that's really my favorite part, like being on YouTube, saying like how to do this on Premiere Pro.
Yeah.
Like and then getting it, you see it and it work. You're like, oh, I did this. Like look at this edit I did, yo. Like little things like that, and just learning, how I could have done something better.
Yeah.
And, you know what I'm saying? Like
especially when like it's the post video, like, damn, I probably should have used this edit or whatever. Because I'm right now I'm learning like this, that That's So Raven where she has that vision. It's like Zoom that you could apparently do that edit or whatever. So I have a question for you. I asked like my audience or whatever, but I want to know what's harder, staying inspired or staying creative?
Oh yeah, we just.
That's a great question.
I think I would say for myself.
For the answer.
That's a great question. I would say, but I would say for myself, I would say staying creative. Cool. And the reason why I would say this is because we're in a world where everybody's posting what they're doing on social media, and we spend more time on social media than we do in real life with people, right? And when we by doing that, we're seeing everything else somebody else is doing. So automatically, our subconscious mind is saying, "Oh, I need to do that," or "I need to make this edit," or "I need to start." You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for us to use our own creativity when we're always basing our creativity on other people.
Oh my, that's a good,
right? So it's hard for us to like really just like
not making TikToks ever again.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's a good thing and a bad thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I caught myself. So I had told myself, actually, this is real life, and I'm being real authentic with y'all. I stopped watching Earn Your Leisure, all the podcasts, all that for a long time, for like 2 weeks. I was going crazy because that was like my structure, but I had to, because in order for me to get my own like type of creativity and for me to think on my own, I had to stop listening to the people that I look up to, because automatically I want to do what they're doing.
That's real raw.
You get what I'm saying? And I'm keeping it exactly, and I'm keeping a buck. Like when we look up to people and we idol people, we kind of start doing what they do.
Yeah, we literally start.
So much
you get what I'm saying? No, it's real life. So I told myself like, Aaliyah, like you gotta cut it out, and it was hurting me, like real life, y'all. I felt depressed, like I felt real sad, because that's like kind of my peace, watching it. Like everybody got something that they do, like to wind down, and watching them and just learning new information was my way to wind down. And because I wasn't doing it, I started like feeling sad and
change of a routine
in my thoughts, because my routine was changing of something I was doing every day for about a year and a half now. You know what I'm saying? And this like recently just happened in like, I'm gonna say November, like the end of November. So that's real stuff. So I would say, to answer the question, being creative.
Yeah,
in this world that we have right now.
You got it. I ain't gonna cap.
I feel like inspiration is everywhere.
I love you already. Word.
Yeah. So.
Wise woman. And my grandma said she's a wise woman.
What the?
She's a what? You're going somewhere.
Yes. Thank you.
So I noticed like, the way like we kind of like got connected was basically through Cal's episode, right?
Yes.
So I'm
that
assuming,
man.
Yes.
Yeah.
That man.
You gotta bring him back.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you were probably, and I saw your clips about IML, so I'm assuming you guys are probably like in the same team or something. Like
yes.
That.
So
okay.
So D Mixon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was on his team under his sister Noelle. You know Noelle?
That was you did the episode.
Yeah. Noelle.
Because somebody asked me that when I shared it. I was like, is that me?
Yeah, that is. Yeah. So and we would like, they would have like B&Bs and stuff. So Cal was like on his team, and we would like network together and stuff like that. So yeah, I didn't know him, and I also knew him because he knew my brother from basketball and all that.
Yeah.
And just being in the
It was me a Monopoly game.
Everybody in the style knows each other.
Yeah. I was gonna ask. So do you feel like network marketing kind of like helped you in terms of just any principles or anything that you learned? Like, do you feel like you still apply them to this day?
Yes.
What you're doing?
Yes, I would lie if I say Forex didn't play a part to, not Forex, but just network marketing in general didn't play a part into like who I am today. I think like that was my first kind of experience of me actually like being able to invest and actually see a return, because I've been 16 for so long and 17 for so long that I wasn't able to do things on my own. But my dad actually liked the concept of Forex, right? So he actually was able to put, his name under certain things, and I was operating it, so that was like my first, introduction to investing and things like that. So I think like it definitely sparked my mindset. And also just all the things you learn in network marketing, right? You learn a lot about,
Self-development.
exactly, you know what I'm saying? So by learning all of that stuff, it contributed to who I was, networking with other people who till this day still support me and who I am, you know what I'm saying? So it definitely, I would never like go on the internet and say like it didn't help me. It definitely had its benefits, right? And I think just like with anything, school, whatever it is, it's all about the work that you put in, and which will create the results that you get. And similar to school, if you have a bad teacher, most likely you'll probably get, not so good results if you don't know what you're doing. So I think it was the same thing with network marketing. If you didn't have somebody who was really like pouring into you, you wouldn't get the best results. But I had a team that was actually, wanted to see the best for me. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, because I was gonna say, for one, you're definitely very well spoken,
appreciate you.
and for everything that you've gone through, I feel like all these experiences, like the same way you said, you got strong early. I feel like all these experiences playing so well, like you're self-evident of what you preach basically, because showing you all these things at a young age has made you like so successful at still a young age. And
Exactly.
I feel like younger people, like I see your cousin over here, like he could take that and when he applies it to himself, it's just like he's your age, he's gonna see like, wow, I'm thankful that I learned about all these things in general. I'm thankful for Aaliyah for being in my corner. Like, I feel like it's really great how all these different experiences, the good, the bad, whatever, it still like plays a big impact in molding who you are as not just a person, but also as a business person as well.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I mean, I just tell people like I'll just be like, I don't know when this stuff happened. Like sometimes I replay things like that I said, and I'll just be like, how did this even get in my brain? Like, like I don't even know. Like I could just like close my eyes and talk, and it was just like. And I always tell people is like what goes in goes out. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same way when we eat, we use the bathroom, right? When a car, we put bad gas in the car not gonna work. Good gas, the car's working good. So it's the same effect.
So I want to go back to the school thing because I'm thinking because I'm a math teacher. I want to teach my kids stuff. But so when you go to the schools, do you just go once and you just talk to them, or do you keep going back to like teach them a class?
So fun fact, right? Let me think. My first time ever like speaking in front of school was probably in like 2021. In school called Manhattan Business Academy. So like I said, I used to play basketball. One of my coaches, he he works at the school and he runs like the investment club. So he said, Aaliyah, I have a great opportunity for you to, go run an investment club and be the teacher of the investment club. So that was my first opportunity. At first, I was doing it on Zoom, and that was a every Thursday type of thing. So that's when I got into like making my own, PowerPoints and things like that. And then the other schools I got into was just all based off of connections. Then one day, I'm not sure if y'all familiar with like Ash Cash. He hit me up one day. He's like a financial person, like up like with EYL and them, right? So he hit me up one day. He was like, "Hey, you in Brooklyn?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, Somebody's looking for somebody to do financial literacy classes, blah blah blah." Connected the dots, and that's when I started actually physically teaching in the school and getting paid to teach in school.
Yeah, I've seen those reels you've been posting.
Yes, and that was every Tuesday, and that has now expanded to now I do things on Thursdays, other schools. So I'm in global finance. That's in Bed Stuy. What else? Boys and girls. I did something at Bedford. But now I'm also doing it where I go into school. So I'm a DOE vendor. So I go into school. So I have a school in Queens. I just did an assembly for them. And now we're working on doing like something ongoing. Bedford, I'm gonna spin back and get something ongoing. So it definitely has been hard because I'm in school and I go to school in Virginia. So it's hard like getting the schedule to see like, all right, I'm gonna be in the school this day and do something ongoing because I don't really like the Zoom thing.
Yeah. It's not,
So as soon as I graduate, like right now I'm like kind of getting all my relationships built. All my relationships. As soon as I graduate, I already have a plan set of like, all right, I'm gonna be in this school, this days, running this program, this the curriculum we're doing, and stuff like that. Yeah.
So what does your curriculum look like for the kids?
Right. So the school I work with, they develop a curriculum, but sometimes that they probably gonna watch this, but sometimes I'll be like, nah, I gotta do something else. But my curriculum, yes, my curriculum is all based off of what the school wants, right? But the things I provide, no, hands down, is definitely talking about budgeting, investing, and credit, and all those things, right? So I start them off with basics, right? So I talk about just what is financial literacy. So that's usually like the first class, like what is financial literacy, and the way my teaching style is by conversation, similar to like the podcast platform. So I'm just having an open-ended discussion with the students because I don't want it to be like the classes that they have all day and all of that, homework, and we're not doing none of that, right? So it's open discussion and we're just talking about money, basically, right? So introducing that. Next is okay. We're gonna talk about maybe like budgeting, right? It's all about where we leave the conversation at. But I definitely always hit financial literacy, the different components of financial literacy. So mindset. So I hit them up with mindset. I talk about the different types of mindsets we have, right? So our subconscious mind, our conscious mind. So they're learning all of this. I talk about financial trauma, right? How financial trauma plays a part in the way we spend money, right? And how a lot of us have financial trauma. I talk about credit, right? How to use money to start a business, how to get money to start a business, how credit works, paying back. Because a lot of times they hear credit cards, they're thinking scamming. But honest truth, I promise you, honest truth. When I'm in a classroom, as soon as I say credit card, they be like, "Yeah, I know what that is." BOA shit. Like
no way.
I promise you. I promise you. I promise you.
That's what they know.
I promise you. I promise you.
They don't need to tell me what they know.
I promise you. So my goal is to combat every negative thing that they have ever encountered in their mind when it comes to like money and entrepreneurship.
You're gonna rewire their brain.
Yes, with a positive, right?
Yeah.
I'm helping them to unlearn all the things that they've learned. I'm helping to introduce them to new things. I talk about entrepreneurship and how they can get started now, the resources, how to create a business website, how to create things on Instagram. Like all that stuff is basically like a part of the curriculum.
Yeah, I wish my school had that, but I'm not even gonna get into how that school is. Literally, I don't even think they will be up to having this, unfortunate. But I was talking to one of the kids in suspension, and we was having a conversation. I was like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "If you keep getting in trouble, you think you're gonna be able to do stuff?" He's like, "I just want to be able to help my mom." I was like, "All right, good. How you gonna help your mother?" I said, "You good at games?" I said, "Yo, get on YouTube and start recording yourself playing games, like stuff like that. Like expose the kids to because." I have middle schoolers, and they go through a lot. Like a lot of these kids, they go through so much.
Yes.
So if you could like start teaching them stuff now, I said y'all learn this stuff now and like really start taking things serious now. I said y'all gonna be a beast when I get older. Like by the time you get to high school, nobody's gonna be able to tell you nothing. Exactly. That's how rich you.
Yeah, a lot of kids just generally don't know. Like it's really crazy, and a lot of the schools I work in too, like a lot of them are kids that don't come from like the best backgrounds, so they really don't know. Like you would think like with being on social media they would have access to certain things. They don't even know to go get access to free opportunities. Like they just don't know. So like my goal is to be get in a classroom, be relatable, and be like the best teacher they ever had. Honestly, you would think like the best feeling I probably get out of this is probably the check. The best feeling I get out of this is when kids come back like, "Oh, she back again? All right, I'm coming into class." Because kids would cut a class they would cut a class in a heartbeat. And as soon as they see me, they're like, "Oh, she back? All right, come on, y'all, pull up to the class."
Yo, we want a class today.
You know what I'm saying? That's the best feeling you can ever get out of this because it's people who actually generally look forward to hearing you, look forward to seeing what information you have for them, look forward to the class, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of students don't look forward to that when they, come to school.
They got a lot of old mean people who don't care. They just care about collecting their what is it called? Their pension. That's it. They there for the pension and that's it. Like we need more younger teachers. Younger black teachers.
Exactly. And honestly
black teachers that relate to our kids because they're gonna listen to us.
We need YBT.
Right.
Younger black teachers.
I'm like, what? YBT? But yeah.
Younger black YBT.
YBT. You heard it here first on What's Cookin NYC.
You would be a great teacher.
Yes.
Yeah.
And honestly,
I play around too much though.
If let's say like you don't want to be like an everyday type of teacher, you can become a NYC DOE vendor, right? Start a business, right? And offer that as your service, going into the school and pouring back into the community. And that's a way you can get a check and you control your bag right? Because you go in there and tell them how much you want.
Switch.
No, seriously, like
a math
you,
teacher to teaching because all I gotta do is teach the stupid test, teach for the test,
exactly.
Now I want to give these kids something like that they can take. Like I went to FIT, I went to school for business and fashion. I know a lot of shit. Okay, and I'm like, I can teach these kids this now, and they're gonna. I'm like, yo, go get some t-shirts. Like you can do so much. I'm about to tell one of our girls. I was like, go on Amazon, buy them eyelashes, buy this pack, and sell for $5 each. Watch how much money you get.
Exactly, and then you can even do it now where you're still a teacher. And I don't know if it's like any type of issue, but I hope it's not. You be a teacher, right, with the DOE, and then still be a vendor. You know what I'm saying? And go into schools and offer that as your service, like, you know what I'm saying? So I think like if you don't,
the teacher job itself is too much. Yeah. So I wouldn't even want to do both because where I'm at is too much. They require too much.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. Yeah, it can be a lot because I think about just the work that I do, creating curriculums. Like, imagine, you grading and all of that, entering all that parent-teacher conference. I don't have to handle that.
I still my kids they test back from a month ago.
Yeah, I don't have to handle that.
Y'all ain't getting it. Why? Listen, I gotta go and create our grading systems now. So I have to go and manually do the grades on Google Classroom and take them out. I'm not doing that. Teach you and that's it. I be freestyling the grades. 85, 85, 65.
Do what you gotta do.
100, 99. I freestyle those grades.
You gotta do
everybody's getting an A. Y'all all getting an A.
You moving like Oprah.
Yeah, you get an A. You get an A. You get an A.
Yes.
So I actually have two final questions. Not to say like we're done. I'm just saying like I personally have two things. So first question I was gonna ask was like, so we were just talking to Peter about this right before. What would you say about like social media influencers in terms of how everybody's trying to sound like they're the financial guru of like social media?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I would say everybody gotta know their role, right? I tell people all the time, and I keep it a buck. I am not a billionaire physically or in my bank account or in assets, but in my mindset, I am, right? I'm not a millionaire. I'm none of those things, right? I really try not to speak on things that I like did not do. You know what I'm saying? Like even real estate, right? I stopped like saying a lot of stuff about real estate because I don't own a property. You know what I'm saying? So I think like it's hard. Don't talk to people. I'm not gonna say don't try to sell any product, or anything like that, or service when you haven't done it yourself, right?
Most of McLaren, we know that.
Exactly. The things that I do is more of the basics. I think a lot of the girls skip the basics.
Yeah,
so
they do.
Exactly. So I found my niche in where like I've done the basics. I see that the basics work. The basics work for all humans. You know what I'm saying? All humans need to know how to budget, right? Budgeting is the same for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to know how much money coming in, how much money go. Like it's the same for everybody. So I think like when it comes to everybody trying to be a financial girl, we just gotta know our place and understand like timing. You know what I'm saying? Once I get to a certain level, I can start speaking about more things. You know what I'm saying? And I know that. You know what I'm saying? And I also know my place. I know that I'm young. So for me to go to a 30-year-old and tell them like all this stuff about money when, they may have kids to feed, I don't experience that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I can help you budget, but I'm not going to tell you how to feed your kids. Right? You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be in your face telling you wrong for this, you know what I'm saying? Because I haven't experienced that. I haven't hit that part of life yet. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I think it's just everybody knowing, their role, and I get everybody's trying to get a bag, but I try to tell people like the bag's gonna come when you're genuine. You don't want the bag to come and easily leave you because you're doing wrong things.
Right.
So and you gotta know your audience. Like
exactly.
Your audience is the younger crowd, and that's great. Everybody need to know who they are talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I was gonna say too, like I feel like with these influencers too, some of them actually like the same way you said they have to be it, you legally do have to be it because some people are giving financial advice, no licensing, like nothing, like you're literally committing a crime.
Yeah, I don't.
And you're doing it just because you want to look good so bad on social media, like you're a genius.
Yeah, I don't go online and say like these are the top stocks to invest in. I always speak from opinion based. Say like this is what I'm doing right now. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. This is what has worked for me because I would hate for somebody to come and be like, yo, Financial Revolutionn, I did this, what you told me to do, and it didn't work out. You know what I'm saying? So that's not where I am right now. And I'm cool with that. I feel like life is going good, and I don't gotta.
Always gotta make that disclaimer. I'm not financial.
Exactly.
Even with this podcast, and young know we are not financial
Exactly.
advisors, so you can't show us nothing.
And also, like, what I love too
we're
is
not
that
gonna tell you anything to do anyway. So.
by me playing my role, I can sit with people who are in higher positions and just ask them questions. And you get the information from them. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to be the one always with the information. I'm cool on saying I don't know because I don't know everything. And that's why I tell people I started my business. I started this business because I'm on a journey of learning. And a lot of times people start posting things and teaching people after they kind of had the journey set, like they already learned. I'm on a journey for knowledge, so my podcast is based off of me trying to learn different things. And while I'm trying to learn different things, I'm showing you guys what I'm learning so y'all can learn with me too. Correct. And that's like what I do. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to, do all this extra stuff. Like that's just not. Yeah, I don't like problems, so I would hate for somebody to come with me. You know what I'm saying? So I just avoid that. Yeah.
I'm not. That's what I'm saying. This is why I'm not even gonna say anything until we do a panel, because that way the person who's speaking, that's the person who could legally go and say that.
Yeah, like even when it comes to like investing in the stock market, right? I just invest. I don't trade. So I know you trade, right? People investing and trading, people kind of put that together, right? So they assume like if you invest, you kind of trade. People ask me trading questions all the time. I'm quick to tell you guys, I don't know. I don't know what that candle is.
She's just saying how to mean.
Yeah, exactly. But I can definitely put you on to somebody. I would definitely I would definitely bring somebody on a platform who does this and they can tell you, what to do. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm quick to be like, I don't know, but talk to my man's right here, he'll get you straight. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's easy to do that. And I think like it's better because like when you're building, a relationship with somebody else, when you sending them business instead of you trying to act like, you got it all yourself, that's operating with like a scarcity mindset,
Yeah, so the second question I was gonna ask you is like, since it's a collab episode, like what do you think about us, like in terms of like our platform and what we got going on?
Now you know what's crazy, right? So I was at school and all this stuff popped on my screen like early Joe like watching. I'm like, I'm about to see what's cooking. I'm about to watch that, right? So like even when I was driving, I'm like, I'm about to listen to what's cooking again because the episode I watched was cool. So the first episode I ever watched was with Calvin, of course, and I had watched another episode you did with some what was their name? It was really good.
Like, do you stream it or do you like watch it from YouTube?
No, I watch from YouTube. I like to watch from YouTube.
Yeah, put that shit on the big screen.
Some people like they've been asking me like, they put on Apple, they put on it's there, it's on Spotify, it's all these platforms, look for it.
We're famous.
No, but that's the best feeling as a
that's getting out the hood. We're famous.
No, you good. That's the best thing about being a creative though. Like seeing your thing on a big screen, and that's why I like to.
And you can market it like it's a big thing too.
Exactly. I tell people all the time, YouTube is the new big screen.
Literally. Yeah, it is.
Literally, people watch YouTube more than they go to the movies. Like you know what I'm saying? But exactly. So. Back to what I was saying, yeah. So I forgot what the episode was with, but I definitely love y'all podcast. It'll be a platform. And I definitely be taking some gems. I'll be like, all right, they did this with the mic. I was like, all right, let me. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely love the platform, and I love like the urban about it. I like that y'all all are being yourselves. Y'all not trying to be anybody else. And I like that everybody's like.
That's the key point. I'm glad you pointed out because when I bought the podcast, I was like, this is probably something like we should not that we should, but this is probably something people want us to suit and tie up for. But no.
Hell no.
I'm not heavy on that.
Like even the last episode, Peter, like he was wearing his blazer and stuff. He was saying that's how he normally dressed. Right. Like he didn't just do that because he was up here. Like he dressed up because he wanted to.
Yeah, and I also one thing I want to commend y'all on too is having a woman on the podcast too. It's not a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, I agree.
You see women, being a face. You see women asking questions and being dominant on the podcast.
That was the first person.
Exactly. So I think that so I think that that's super important. That's another thing that I like. But yeah, we growing. From y'all.
Shout out.
Who run the world?
Girls. Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm actually happy for this collab too because I feel like since we do a lot of similar things, there's always gonna be people saying things.
Exactly.
I feel like I see a lot of similarities and differences with us. I see a lot of, like I see a lot of similarities and differences with us, and it's just like I just want to see us go up. I don't want to see people saying, "Oh, this person's copying this person," but nah.
You know what?
Collaboration over competition, right? That's what everybody.
I like that.
Collaboration over competition.
Yeah, I see everybody saying that now.
Ooh,
It's like
should
it
have
really
a
makes
t-shirt.
sense.
No, that's real life. And you know what I look at it? What I look at it as is like it's so many different artists out there, right? And who's to say like, all right, Lil Baby's my favorite artist, but who's to say I still don't listen to Drake? You know what I'm saying?
True,
I don't
yeah,
still,
that's true.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's room for everybody. Like,
Right. It's impossible to have one of something.
I'm glad you said that because if you think about it, how Lil Baby came up or whatever, as soon as he got that Drake feature, it bridges the gap of audiences.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You're the younger generation. We're slightly older, but at the end of the day, it's an audience thing.
Exactly.
Your audience meets our audience, and our audience meets your audience. Match made in heaven. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Like it's super dope. And I think like having a podcast in general is super cool because like similar to what you said, you have different people watching because now if I come on, my audience is gonna want to see me talk, so they're gonna be like, all right, now like what's Cookin podcast? I'm gonna add this, I'm gonna listen, right? So now they're listening to future episodes and past episodes. So it's like it's a beneficial thing, like
That's one thing my barber was telling me because after Cal's episode, I'm not gonna lie, like, I got an influx of people that like do financial services. I'm just like, damn. Now you showed up first, so I was like, all right, I got her. But then it's just like, especially being that he was in network marketing. A lot of these people, they do credit, taxes, all this stuff. So I'm just like, damn, bro, like, all right, Aaliyah's already booked, but now I gotta cater to all these people. I'm like, who's the best out of here? Like, and he's like, no, you can't approach it that way. Shout out to my barber, by the way. He's like, you can't approach it that way because one, you're limiting your audience.
That's true. By
not bringing all these people in. Two, you got to emphasize these topics, right? If it's something about credit, specify like, hey, this is credit week. We're going to be having a bunch of different credit specialists come in and talk about credit. Don't just limit yourself to having one credit specialist because there's something he or she might not know that the next person could bring. And especially too, if those people are watching, they're like, well, I could pinpoint the fact that this person, like for example, we just had the episode with Links. I could pinpoint Link spoke about this, but he didn't speak about this. I could come in and speak about that rather than being repetitive and saying all the things that Link just spoke about.
Exactly.
So
and
I feel like that might be pointed that out.
And I kind of just to add on, look at it as like I talk about Early Legion a lot, but look how many people they've interviewed. How many real estate people they interviewed. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like people gonna do similar things. People gonna be in the same industries, but everybody has a different way of going about it. Everybody has like a different audience. Like let's look at. I'm not sure if you guys know these people, but like him 500, he's like a credit guru versus somebody called Got Credit, right? Jose the credit group, credit dude, right? You know what I'm saying? Like two different people may have similar audience, may not. You know what I'm saying? But they both do credit. That doesn't discredit, who they are, So I think like you just gotta, like you said, don't limit, your mindset. Don't limit, people you have come on. Just
like even when I started, so the producer we were with before. So shout out to Josh, by the way, we gotta get him up here. But when I first spoke to Josh, he asked me a lot of questions and he was telling me a lot about the podcasting industry in general. And one thing he was doing was he branched out like a lot of different people to me in terms of like who I could reach out to and whatnot. A lot of people do a lot of similar things, but again, they bring a different audience. They bring, different skill sets. They bring different info on similar topics. So it's like, why not?
And different energy too. I think like, we may have some laid back people, may have people really excited. People, you know what I'm saying? So that's another thing too. It adds like an aura to your platform as well.
I'm sorry about that part.
No, you're good.
No, so I mean, is there anything else that you like? Any last minute comments you want to give to the audience? Not just the younger audience, because older people too. We got love for y'all too. It's not too late.
What's older?
How old are you?
I'm 20.
She's 20. I'm older than her, so she's talking to me too. Like I'm taking notes too. But just anybody.
I learned
That's what I'm saying. Like you feel me? Like she's the youngest one in the front. Well, the youngest one right here. You can come in the camera.
Yeah, it's not this. Yeah, you come.
No, take a shot. That's
you guys show the hoodie too. He's been taking a lot of videos and pictures behind the scenes, so definitely appreciate him.
I like that hoodie.
What you say your nickname once again?
John.
You said to call you Ja, right? Okay.
Yeah.
My boy Five.
Because I remember you told me he was like, no.
I feel, bro, he got AirPods, phone runners, and all that. You know what I'm saying?
This is my cousin right here, right? I'll let him introduce himself, but
Okay, so my name's Isaiah.
Wait, can they see you?
yeah, just come stand like right here.
Alright, so my name is Isaiah. I'm his cousin, and I'm a sophomore at Brooklyn Community Arts High School. This is about me. All of the best things, but mostly I do screenwriting and films. And right now, I'm thinking about with my teacher, creating like a. Actually, I don't want to say it because it's a good idea.
Don't say it.
We might give gems, but we don't give out secrets. That's what we're not going to do.
Yeah, I'm a great screenwriter, and I'm starting doing directing. I got my certificate a couple months ago from NYU for a course I took in filmmaking. My friend, I created a whole film. And learning from Leah been a lot. Like Leah said, I taught a class for my school about investing and how investing can be good, beneficial, and how it's similar to saving, but it's mostly better stuff like that. So that's basically about me.
Yes. Yeah, it's my cousin, man.
Yeah,
So
he
I try to my goal is to kind of especially with the younger cousins I have, take them around. So I have another cousin, Jaden. So he's actually the producer of my podcast, right? So I try
to work.
yeah, so the producer of my podcast, putting more into opportunity. So the goal is just to whatever I get, give it back and return it 10 times.
Yeah.
20 times, so.
So also speak about the merch. I see y'all both got the merch on.
Oh yeah, you got showing the billionaire in the back. Oh well, he wanted the future billionaire, but all
this is custom.
Yeah, this is custom,
okay.
but all merch comes with billionaire or CEO in the back, with the zeros. And I really believe that you are what you wear, right? A lot of us either wear designer or we wear certain brands or anything because that's a representation of like who we are, right? So when we probably put on, some what's something, what's something,
A laptop, like a sticker on the laptop.
Yeah, sticker on a laptop, right? We represent that brand. Or if you support black businesses, you'll probably have a lot of black-owned businesses in your closet, right? So I think that if in my mind I'm a billionaire, I represent every day I wear in Financial Revolutionn. So I represent my brand and I represent just in general the term of being a billionaire. So everything comes with it on the back because usually when somebody sees you, it's from like either the back. So the front, they're gonna see Financial Revolutionn, and when you think of that, you think of a revolution with our money. And I'm black, so black money, So.
And we got the wall here. I know.
Yeah.
Because originally she wanted to do a different style. I said, no, this definitely fits the idea.
Black excellence through the years that they would never show us.
Got a lot of black businesses up here,
Yeah, and I think that my goal is just to be lineage and a representation of all my ancestors who came before me and was doing this work, and just to pour back into my community and do my work, and pass on the baton to other people.
So, final question. So, we're stealing your question.
Okay.
So, what is it? Is it rap lyric or rap song?
I'm gonna do a lyric. Let me see.
All right. So, what's your favorite rap lyric about money?
I always be like, how people come on the show don't know, but I have so many. That's all right. So, one, I like to scare money, don't make no money. I like Lil Baby said, I make money 8 ways like an octopus. I thought that was super, super crazy.
I make money
8 ways like an octopus.
Because you need 8 streams of income.
I thought that was super crazy. That was a bar that
shit.
one of his songs was, I was like, yo, that's crazy. I thought that was fire. I like Lil Baby, my favorite rapper, so a lot's gonna come from him. I like when he said, I've been saving more than I've been spending, that's what I'll be on. I like Nipsey Hussle, some of my artists, and Jay-Z, right? Financial freedom, my only hope. Forget being rich and dying broke. I think that right there, was when I hear that, it does it for me every time. I think that's something I kind of live by when I'm doing things throughout the day, just financial freedom.
The goal is to be free.
Yeah, just freedom, and not even just financial freedom, location freedom, time freedom, right? Being able to do whatever I want with my time, being able to be anywhere in the world making money, or just, being free in my mind, so.
All right, so what about you? You two? Oh, I mean, I should go too, right? So for me, I would say Chef G. What is he?
Here we go.
You get money, Chef G, free Chef G, by the way.
Yeah, free Chef.
You know
free my boy, Mike, you know what I'm saying?
The chorus speaks for itself,
We get money.
He's on, because we got the bag. Come on, literally, don't don't see, What's Cooking or Young and Dumb podcast blow up, and now you guys want to know it. You guys should know it now. Like, don't, wait till then to know it.
Wow, I don't even have a
now
favorite.
I was gonna say Meek Mill too.
Expensive
Expensive
make
Pain.
no money.
I was gonna say Expensive Pain.
My mother be like, "They don't make no money." I'm trying to think.
I like Expensive Pain.
What the fuck?
You want some shit that I'm on? Like
Beyonce, Jay-Z said Beyonce be saying some stuff.
I like Story OJ.
Her music now. I can't think.
I don't know. I like a lot of music that like it be those hidden messages. Like I like listen to like Fab. Fab be having like the
Fab
hidden.
is my favorite
like,
rapper of all time. I defend. It's a whole full-time job defending that. He's too old, but Lil Wayne gets a pass. Like all these other people.
He had said something crazy one day. I forgot the bar, but it was in Soul Food with Jada Kiss. He was like, he was. What did he say? He said less trips to Miami, like something like that. And that was like, dang, I wish I could tell you the full thing, but just to put it in context, that was important to me because I think like a lot of times like we go to like local places when we need to expand our mindset. We need to like be traveling far overseas, like to really.
That's why I say we're traveling already. Like.
You went to where?
I've been to London.
London? Oh, I
London
just
is so fun.
came back from London.
For real?
Yeah, I went in October 31st to like November something.
London is so fun.
I'm glad you brought it up because it's like I was saying that too. Like I say it all the time too, and I don't know what it is like for like your era, but I know like with me when I was like like 17, 18, like right before college. Everybody just wanted to go to Miami. For what exactly, I don't know. It's because all their friends want to go to Miami.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Exactly. Then it became everybody want to go to what's the one? Is it Virginia or is that Myrtle Beach? Where is that?
Or Virginia Beach?
Or no?
Where that concert is?
Nah. Oh. No, it's somewhere in Virginia. I forgot the name. Maybe it's not Myrtle, but there was this one beach in I said Virginia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere over there, like people want to go. Then it became Cancun. Now it's still now I see people going to Greece, and now everybody and their mother going to Greece. Like, I feel like people gotta go somewhere just to go. Like, they shouldn't just go there because 10 other people on Instagram
it was a debate on the internet. It was like, well, why every time Black people go somewhere?
Oh yes.
I can see both sides.
Yes.
Wait, was it? Why?
It's like, okay, why is it a problem? Now that all Black people are going to this flocking to this one place.
Yeah. India posted it.
And it's like it doesn't become luxurious no more because we're all there.
What is that supposed to mean?
No, they were saying, all right, give the example.
I get it, but I don't
with
get
the bags. They used the
like
with the Birkin bags.
With the Birkin bags. You know, people's like, oh, now everybody want to go. Nobody wants to, like, people will be like mad that everybody's going to Miami. Now everybody's going to Miami. But I can kind of get why, because I travel a lot and I see how people act. Like Miami spring break, everybody's flocking there now. It's the type of people, like they have that hood mentality. Like some people have that hood mentality, don't know how to act, and they take it with them out the country, and then it makes it bad for all of us. Because they look at one of us and then they treat all of us the same. Yeah. Because these people don't know how to act. They getting drunk, they knocking stuff over, they cursing people out, they being disrespectful. So nobody's gonna want this.
Exactly. Like,
It
makes sense. But it's like I can easily say that's the same thing as saying violence is everywhere too. At the end of the day, well, honestly, you know what? I'm gonna just leave it off there.
No, so look,
I agree.
Say
Because a lot of Black people, it's just now a lot more Black people are beginning to travel. Like my family and I, we've been traveling for a long time. People like, how y'all go on vacation? I'm like, bro, just get a travel agent and you just pay over something. That's it.
Oh shit.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
No.
Some people just whipping money out and just saying, "Oh,
I think they use credit cards.
That's what I'm saying.
So we planned before COVID. We would plan 10 months in advance. So when my grandmother would come back from one trip in August, the next week she's calling our travel agent. All right, pick out our trip, set up the website, so everybody can put their money down by October. You finish paying by May. You go on vacation by June. That's how by August. That's how we went on our vacations every single year. You go on as many vacations as you want. You just gotta plan accordingly. Like you gotta do what makes sense for you. If you know you can't book out your credit card or book out your debit card, and be like, I'm going on vacation next week or next month. Don't do it. Just plan accordingly.
So here's my standpoint on that, right? So let's take, for example, I'll take Chanel bags, right? Chanel bags used to be like Chanel bags. Even now, Chanel bags are still expensive, right? And Chanel bags used to be very what's the word? Exclusive, right? Very exclusive. And a lot of times when it comes to things that are exclusive, Black people don't. We're not included in it. And even if we do get it, now that person is now sitting in a different playing field than other Black people, and that's just facts. Like that's facts.
Black people getting money now. That's why they're able to get it. I don't think it's accessible as it is. I can't afford no Chanel bags. I'm not getting that money. But a lot of Black people, they know how to get money now, so they can buy those things.
And I think what happens is too, social media has made it to where like it's cool to post what you have, or like so now it's like we're seeing more Black people with wealth. We're seeing more Black people, and when I say Black people, I'm not just talking about like the rappers and entertainers. We're seeing everyday Black people, people we went to high school with, right? You know what I'm saying? Like people we went to high school with, people that probably went to college with, you know, doing things that are considered wealthy or rich or whatever. So now in our minds, it's like, it must be easy. It must, you know what I'm saying? But we devaluing ourselves because we had access to it. So I do agree with that statement. However, I do agree with what you said of how like we do get certain things and don't know how to act.
Yeah, so I'm gonna end up with to go off of what y'all saying. It's just like we need to have this energy for like more Black businesses, because the thing is, for example, like a lot like let's take liquor for example, right? So pandemic happened. I said pandemic or pandemic? I'm sorry. Bro, the pandemic happened, and what was everybody doing? Azul 1942, right? And these are brands that's been around.
I was drinking cranberry.
And right? Casamigos been around for mad long.
Not even just that, but even like clothes too. Like there's brands that, like for example, Big, right? Everybody used to say, "Oh, Lil Wayne, Soulja Boy, they were the only ones wearing Big." Look at everybody in when A Boogie came out. Now the whole New York City is wearing Big. Like, look at Lensman right now. Everybody's wearing Lensman. Like,
because my friends was wearing Big in 2014, 2015.
No, I know, because it's a New York thing.
It's just like
I'm saying like A Boogie, and PNB Rock, RP to him, like they made it like a thing where everybody.
It's like G Herbo with Air Force Ones.
Yeah, like now everybody wants.
But can get me cracking in my Air Force One. Like they don't know that song,
but the thing is, we have media has such a huge influence on it. I can even attest to this. I remember I didn't know what a Mary was until it was in music. Yeah, I promise you, I didn't.
But he's probably been around.
It's been around for years, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's look at Telford, for example. Telford became really popular during, the pandemic because all these people in the media was starting to wear it. Once somebody that we like wears something, I want it. That's the mindset.
That Jen Carter lyric about
that's all that needs to happen. Somebody that you like. It doesn't even have to be, an influence. It just so happens to be that like so many people have influence that they can influence thousands and hundreds of thousands of people at one time. So it's just, I don't know.
I have my rap lyric.
Oh.
I tried to pay attention, but attention paid me by Lil Wayne. That sums up my whole life.
I like that.
I tried to pay attention, but attention paid me.
That's the best lyric
ever. I like that one.
But anyway.
Copyright!
So y'all seen what's cooking with Aaliyah, Financial Revolutionn, the Young and Dumb podcast. She has a bunch of aliases she could go by. And that's about it. So Aaliyah, anything you want to say?
I'll just make sure y'all tune in. Follow me at Financial Revolutionn with 2 N's on Instagram, on TikTok, because TikTok's starting to blow up. And Young and Dumb podcast on YouTube. And tune in, y'all.
Simple.
All right.
Appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all for having me on the platform.
Sure.